Have you ever tried to explain something simple, like a color, to someone who's never seen it? Where would you even start? Well, that was pretty much the challenge for travelers back in the 14th century, stepping into worlds that were totally and completely new. So today, we're going to dive into how one of the greatest travelers in history, Ibn Battuta, cracked this very problem when he got to India.
First off, to really get what he accomplished, we have to understand that travel in the 1300s was no joke. It was incredibly dangerous. I mean, Ibn Battuta wasn't just booking a flight, he was constantly facing threats. He got attacked by robbers multiple times, once got so sick he had to literally tie himself to his saddle, and he even wrote about a loneliness so deep he just broke down crying in a crowd. His 30-year journey, it's just a stunning feat of human endurance.
So here's our game plan for today. We'll start with that core challenge every traveler faces. Then we'll meet our guide, Ibn Battuta himself. After that, we'll dig into two amazing examples of how he described things, the coconut and pawn. And finally, we'll pull back the curtain on his whole strategy for making the strange feel, well, a little less strange.
All right, so let's jump right into that central problem. You know that feeling when you land somewhere totally new and your brain is just buzzing with sights, sounds, and smells you have no words for?
I mean, really think about it for a second. How do you build that bridge? Do you search for a comparison? Do you get super detailed? This was the exact puzzle Ibn Battuta was trying to piece together for his audience all the way back home in Morocco.
Okay, so let's properly meet the man of the hour. This is a true legend of exploration, and his personal story is just as wild as the places he saw.
So Ibn Battuta was born in Tangier, Morocco, and he was actually a scholar of Islamic law. His book, the Rihla, which just means the journey, is this incredibly vivid account of what life was actually like across Africa, the Middle East, and Asia in the 14th century.
And this quote, wow, it just captures everything. He was only 22, driven by what he called an overmastering impulse. This wasn't just some trip. It was a complete uprooting of his life, leaving behind absolutely everything he'd ever known.
And this is the thing that really set him apart. You see, unlike a lot of scholars then, Ibn Battuta believed that true, deep knowledge didn't come from a library. It came from getting out there and seeing things with your own two eyes. That whole philosophy is what makes his writing so special, because it forced him to look closely at all the little details of daily life. Okay, let's see this in action with a real example. When Ibn Battuta finally gets to India, he's surrounded by plants he's never seen before, and one of the most bizarre to him was the coconut. So, see what he does there? His first move is to start with something familiar. Everyone back home knew what a date palm looked like, so by saying a coconut tree is exactly like a date palm, he instantly plants an image in their minds. It's a simple move, but it's brilliant. But describing the tree was the easy part. It was the fruit itself that really, truly astonished him. For that, he needed a comparison that would really make an impact. And this is where his creativity just goes off the charts. He literally says the nut resembles a man's head. He says the outer fiber is like hair, the indents on the shell are like two eyes and a mouth, and get this, when it's still green, he said the white stuff inside looks like a brain. It's such a vivid, kind of strange image, but it makes this alien thing instantly understandable.
And he didn't just stop at its looks, he was also blown away by how useful it was. He writes down that they use the fiber to make cords that are so strong, they use them to sew ships together instead of iron nails. Imagine hearing that for the first time. It just adds a whole other layer of wonder.
So Ibn Battuta wasn't just interested in objects, he was just as fascinated by what people did, their customs. And one of the most curious to him was his whole practice of chewing the betel leaf, or what's called pan. And look, he does it again. He starts with another familiar comparison. His readers would know how grapevines are grown, so by linking the betel plant to a grapevine, he gives them a starting point before hitting them with the twist. This plant isn't about the fruit, it's all about the leaves. Then he really zooms in, carefully laying out the whole ritual. He doesn't just say, they chew leaves. No, he breaks it down step by step. It's this methodical observation that takes a really strange custom and makes it feel like an understandable process for his readers. He's showing them his work.
So we've seen the what and the how. He describes coconuts and pahan with these really smart analogies. But the bigger question is, why? Why focus so much on these things? Well, that leads us to his grand strategy.
And there it is. This is the aha moment. It wasn't random at all. Ibn Battuta had a clear goal. He zeroed in on the weird and the unique because he knew that's what would really grab his audience and impress them. He was, first and foremost, a storyteller. Ultimately, his book, the Rihla, wasn't just a report. It was meant to be entertainment. He was trying to transport his readers to a land of pure wonder. And by focusing on things like nuts that look like human heads and strange leaf-chewing rituals, he created a story that was just as mind-blowing as it was informative.
And all this kind of leaves us with one last thought. In our world, you can see pictures of almost anywhere before you even leave your house. But Ibn Battuta's story is a great reminder to look closer, right? To find the genuine wonder in the little things that are completely new to us. So the next time you travel, ask yourself, what are the coconuts? The strange, amazing little details that you might be walking right past.